It's the Dating with Katy podcast, and today it is a topic that half of you need to work on because I took the Instagram poll, was a little horrified, slightly surprised that this is so difficult for you, but this is how to break up. Like, y'all need to know how to break up because you are going to break up. Now, this is how to break up in the early stages. This is not a 2-year relationship. This is not a 15-minute Dating with Katy podcast. And you guys know I'm all about, 3 dates, 3 weeks, 3 months. So I'm here to help you get confident, be successful, and have some fun dating, especially from date number 1 to month number 3, because really that's where a lot of you can't even get. You're like, Katy, I got 1 date, can't get a second. Katy, I can't even get a first. Katy, I'm 3 weeks in, but I can't decide. Do I want to invest in this person? So that's what my podcasts are for. These aren't deep relationship issues, but what they are is helping you navigate so we can be successful and date like adults. So thanks so much for joining in. I'm going to be giving you mindsets, why you need to be making sure you're breaking up well and doing it right and not ghosting. I'm going to give you exactly how to do it today. I'm going to give you the exact words. So nobody is without an opportunity to do this right. And then I'm going to give you a few more bits of advice. But before I do me a big, big favor. I need you to subscribe. I need this podcast to go up in the ranks because we need the word out on the street on how to do this right. Because y'all know, look at me in my Texas accent now. And I have my Texas pasty white, like it snowed in Dallas today, okay? This is why this California girl is so pale. I'm like, this is not my best look. So I want you all to listen on podcast, don't watch on YouTube. But I'm looking tired. I'm looking like I need some sunshine, which I'm going to LA tomorrow. Amen. But yes, I need y'all to subscribe. I need some 5 stars on there. I want this podcast to move up in the ranks. I want more people to see it. I want that random, message. Hey, Kate, I don't know how this came into my lineup, but I listened and it was good. It was not only good, but it had great, practical, helpful advice. And you guys know that that's what I'm all about. So here's one. Being this pale is never a good look, so I should be using a little bit of tanning cream. Guys, if you're bald, tanning cream. I'm going to be doing a man makeover podcast coming up. Guys, you're going to want to tune in for that. The ladies will be thanking me. And don't forget, get in my database. I have great clients right now. Ladies, I need you in there with some great pictures. Guys, if you're tired of doing the swiping, let me just send you women that are phenomenal that I've already vetted for you. That would be my matchmaking. Get in the work with me button below. Okay, so how do we break up with someone? And I hate the word break up because in the early stages of dating, you're not technically dating, right? You're out. I guess you could say you're out dating. I actually have some verbiage for this from a really early podcast, the 3 stages of dating. And you are dating. It's like pursuing a job, right? You are out and about, checking out what you like, what's a good fit. So always think of dating as a job interview. And I know job interviews are exhausting, right? Looking for a job, getting a job, unless some matchmaker or some recruiter reaches out and they're like, you're a good fit for this job. And you're like, yes. So when I do reach out, ladies, get on top of it because that's a win for you. But really, it's an exhausting process. Guys, when I was single, I did have fun doing it. I made it fun. And I always knew the common denominator was me. I was fun on the dates. I took it playfully. I was feminine. I let the men do the men stuff. I wasn't trying to lead them in, and I wasn't desperate. My vibes were on point. So make sure you're listening to those podcasts. My last one, what are the 5 things men are looking for? Spot on. I can't tell you how many guys are like, this is it, Katy. So ladies, go listen to that. But you've got to really make sure that you are out dating. You're making the list of your standards. What are your core values, which leads to your standards, how you want to be treated, your preference list, throw it away. It is not what we're living by. And so what I found is that when it comes to the breakup, the early breakup, gosh, we should call it something else. I'm dating someone, 3 dates, 3 weeks, 3 months. During this time of passing, we'll call it passing. When you want to pass on someone, how do we do that? And are you doing that is the question. Hence why ghosting is so big nowadays. I'm going to tell you when you can ghost and when you cannot ghost a little bit later. But instead of ghosting, we've got to act like adults and we've got to be good communicators because these are habits that we're forming. Whether or not we want to do it, that's not the point because being a good communicator means you're doing it anyway. It means you're checking in, means you're settling the situation, means you're confirming, means you're canceling. Whatever that is, good communication is key for a great relationship, podcast 32, 33. But you really have to be practicing so that it becomes that habit. So here's the deal. 52% of you said that it was difficult for you to do the pass or the breakup. And I'm so sad about that, because what's really happening is those 52% of you are creating, you're going on dates with the 48% who are doing the right thing and happy and willing to communicate that. And it's creating this friction and this frustration, right, in dating. So the ghosting is crushing it for everybody who's doing it right. So if you're the 48% who follow me, who have no problem communicating that, great job. I'm proud of you. But we got to get these other 52% on board, because it's really not fair and it's not fun. Okay, so here's a couple ideas of why you do need to do it and some of the mindsets of why you're not doing it or why you do need to do it. So number one, we need to make sure that we are not living by the, oh, he's so good on paper, and oh, but she's hot. So you don't want to pass on this person because, well, he's good on paper, so I'm just going to keep dating him. Or she's so hot, I'm just going to keep dating her. Because number one, you're really not that into them. And number two, that's really not fair to them. And unfortunately, not everyone's strong enough or confident enough to pass on you. So I want you to be really clear on what you're looking for and if that's a good fit. So here's the deal with this, is that, guys, number one, you can't be leading her on just so you can get her in bed, okay? Just so you can have some physicality. And ladies, I said this last week, a couple weeks ago, make sure that he earns your heart before he earns your body, before he earns any physical touch. Before he earns all of that, he has to earn your heart. He has to earn your confidence. And so, guys, if you're just holding on to her because you're pretending to do that, that's not cool. And that is some bad dating karma. And you don't want to be doing this because you only want what wants you back. So in those first early stages of dating, of seeing somebody, right? It's not the end of the world if somebody doesn't want you back. As a matter of fact, better to know now than later on in the game when your heart is more invested. I always say to my clients, how many toes in are you? Now, this word picture, I hope it's helpful, that you can kind of assess how deep you're in with this person. Like when you walk up to some cold water, or some water that you're trying to get used to, you dabble in it, right? You don't just jump in, because how many times you've done that? You've jumped into this relationship, whole body thrown in, and then you come to find out that, he was only good on paper and he's really a terrible guy. Or she's hot, but she's like super shallow and selfish and wants Instagram photos all day. So no jumping into the lake. We dabble our toes in. And my clients, this is what I say, you're only dabbling up to 5 toes in it until you start having sex. Okay, now once you're committed, probably having sex, you're over here on the toes 6 to 10. 10 is when you're married. I'm going to go backwards here. 10 is when you're married. 9 is when you're engaged. So I'm 10 toes in right now. I mean, I got a ring on it. I'm 10 toes in. I'm in. I'm in the river. I'm swimming. I'm good. But when I was engaged, I'm 9 toes in. And now that doesn't give me privilege like that one toe is the runaway toe. It means we're still not that committed yet. Okay, now some of you might not agree with that. You're like, well, I can be 10 toes in and not be committed in a marriage way. That's fine. Call it whatever you'd like. I believe in full marriage. It's a lot harder when you got a piece of paper you sign, and it's going to be a lot harder to break up. So I'm a believer that that's your 10 toes. 8, 7, and 6 toes in, which is more, you've got the first 5 and then the 6, means that you're in a fully committed relationship and it's growing, right? Hopefully towards that full commitment. Now, toes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toe 1 is you are out dating, you're having fun. It's Friday night. They get 1 toe in. You are there to have fun and be attentive. Okay, those are the 2 goals on a first date. Toe 2 and 3, maybe a couple weeks in, a couple months in, you're seeing them. 4 and 5 is you're getting close to that commitment. You're trying to see, are we going to commit? So when you're only 5 or 2 toes in, then you're not going to be brokenhearted, because you shouldn't be brokenhearted. If you're jumping in and then 3 months later, he breaks up with you and you're like brokenhearted. Well, sweetheart, you shouldn't have jumped in that fast. So that's kind of on you, and that's your level of maturity. And it's dating like an adult when we do this right. When we communicate our yeses and our nos, I'm looking to date you, but these would be some things I would need changed, or these would be some things that we would need to adjust to make it work, because reality has to work or personalities have to work. So that is good communication. And are you able to do that? And then lastly, the whole point of dating is not to be worried about what they like. Oh, does that person like me? I don't know if he likes me. You should only be assessing if you like them. Do they fit in your world? Are they positive? Are they going to be a win for you, a benefit? I have so many podcasts on this. Go check them out, right, guys? So these are the mindsets that you need to have. This is why you should be doing it. and why you should be breaking off, why you should be communicating, all of these things. And right now I'm going to tell you exactly how to do this. And guys, I don't think it's that difficult. I've been doing this for a very long time when I was dating. I was always very upfront with somebody. You probably tell that about my personality. So now I'm going to teach you how to do it and how to do it like an adult, the dating with Katy style, the 20%ers, right? So let's talk about ghosting first. There is a time and a place to ghost. The only place I believe in ghosting is on an app. Now, if you're just going to fade out and they're going to fade out, it's perfectly fine. You have a half a toe invested, right? It's not the end of the world. If you've been chatting away with them, well, that was your waste of time and their waste of time, because you should always be moving quickly to get off the app. I think that's podcast 20, right? Move quickly from the app to IRL in real life. So if you're just a time waster and they're a time waster, well, you two, I'm glad you wasted time together and you never got anywhere. You shouldn't be doing that on the apps. That's a waste of both your times. But if you want to ghost and fade on the apps, it's just going to happen, you guys. Like, that's where the 80%ers are. So just let it go. No big deal. But now let's say you do get to the first date. This is where I'm talking. Now, if before the first date, somebody flakes, this happened to a friend of mine recently. He's like, Katy, I didn't hear from her. I heard from her on Friday. I had the whole date plan on Saturday. She never, responded back to my Saturday morning text. Like, can't wait to see you tonight. So he didn't go. I mean, that's fair. Like, girl, you got 3 seconds to say, yeah, I'm excited too. So I'm talking about you get to the first date, you meet this person in person, and you realize it's not a good fit. And there could be a multitude of reasons. Sadly, I think a lot of you ladies have some stupid reasons. Like, I'm starting to get annoyed. Like, I'm starting to get frustrated in my job here because I hear some feedback that is just so ridiculous. Recently, I had a date go out, and she's like, well, he didn't know who the Red Hot Chili Peppers were. Who cares? Who cares? She's like, he's not up to date enough. I know who they are. I don't really care who they are. Like, there's definitely some music genre that I would not know nor care to know. So when I hear these dumb reasons for passing, I just say, well, you're going to be single for a long time. But I will say this, that if there's valid reason that on the first date, second date, or third date, it's not a right fit, but yet they like you, guys and girls, this is going to be true either way, that you need to communicate that quickly. And I'm going to say this, that ladies, it's typically on you, because guys usually like you. If they're going to spend their time and money, it's pretty much because they're open. And guys are much more receptive too, so they're going to give you a couple dates to figure it out. Women are like, no, this happened, I'm done, I don't like him. It's usually for a ridiculous reason. But let's talk about that. So ladies, I'd like to state to you that if you're on a date and you notice he's very cordial to you, he was very excited about you, if by the end of the date he was feeling the same way, you just weren't sure, okay. So this is where the guys are like, what is going on, Katy? I couldn't tell if she liked me or not. Ladies, it is your job to lead that. You need to be directive. I talk about that in podcast 9, I think, where you need to direct these men into what is his next step. You have the rose, girl. You get to give that rose. We kind of control the ride here. So you need to tell him, like, I had a great night. You should always be sending a thank you text, no matter what. Even if you didn't like him, be polite, be a feminine woman, say thank you for dinner, and then you say this. You either say, thank you for dinner, I had a great time, I'd love to see you again. Wow. Look at that. You want me to say it again? Thank you for dinner, I had a great time, I'd love to see you again. I'm free next Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at this time. He will love that, okay? That is what a directive woman is. If it was not that way, if you are not sure, then give it a chance, right? Go and talk to your girlfriends and think about it, but give the guy a second chance. Like, and you could say this, hey, I had a really good time. Can we do a fun date next time? Can we go play mini golf on our date too? Maybe do something different with him so you could see how he interacts and see if it's a better fit. Or here's number 3, and this is what he doesn't want to hear, but you need to do it, ladies. Hey, I had a great time tonight, but I don't think you're the right fit for me. But I wish you all the best. And if anybody's going to get hurt over any of that, then that is on them. But ladies, you must be the communicator in all this. Now, guys, you know quickly if she's not a right fit. You're like, yeah, I knew it. Guys, same thing. If you're on a date, you finish the date, you give her a hug, you say goodbye, whatever it is. At the evening, say, please text me when you get home. If she does not text you, because I just told her 3 different texts that she can give, You need to send her a text the next day that says, hey, I hope you got home okay. You know, I had a great time last night, but I don't think you're the right fit. I wish you all the best. Done, you guys. It is that simple. Now, here is some strategy when doing it. Now, on date 1, 2, and 3, you can always text that. All of these should be done by texting, especially in the first three dates. Moving on to 3 weeks and 3 months, I would highly recommend maybe a phone call and just keeping it short and simple. Here is the one danger and the one caveat. When someone says, well, why wasn't I a good fit? Or what did I do wrong? Do not answer that. You are not in any place to start doing relationship 101 with this person because you haven't invested enough toes, right? You're 2 toes in, you're 3 toes in. Do not start to assess them because they're either going to say, well, I'll change that. The point is, if it's something that you'd wanted them to change, you should have asked them during the timing, right? If it was 3 weeks in and you realize this guy is always on his phone or he's never looking at you, if you said, hey, you know, I know you're on your phone a lot, but if I'm going to be dating you or going out with you, I'd prefer that you put your phone away. Communicate this stuff. Communicate it early. Give them a chance to change. And if they don't, then say, you know, I thought you were great, but you're just not the right fit for me. Do not feel like you need to explain to them why. Now, if they are consciously saying, wow, okay, well, is there any feedback you'd like to give me? And you feel like that's coming from a good place in their heart because they're someone who has EQ and they want to grow, then you can kindly say, well, I did notice, you know, you looked at other women sometimes, or ladies, you know, you're on your phone a lot and that's just not somebody I want to be with. You know, I did notice that you spend, you know, you're really hard to be with because you don't have a lot of availability and that's your space in life right now. And I want to wish you well in that. If they're open to growth, share with them gently. Do not give a lot of details. Too many details does not lead for further improvement. It leads for further frustration. We've seen it with clients. We've seen it with the girls they've dated. You know, well, what did I do wrong? It's like, you know what, girl? I'm going to give you 2 little mini things. Just work on those things. And I really think it's just important that we take dating, especially in these early stages, especially when we're just seeing people, and we're reminded that we're learning what we do and what we don't want. Okay? That is the big thing here. And truly, the people who are great and we would want to date and it didn't work out, they're just your expanders. In life, you're going to have those people who are doing what you're doing. I hope I'm an expander for you. Katy met a great man. She locked down a relationship in the best of ways because they're both healthy. We're both doing it right. We're both growing together. And if she can, I can. I want to be that expander for you, right? And so know that when you do meet these people in dating and it doesn't work out and you're not 20 toes in because you can't be, you're only 2 toes in, you can bless them and use that as an expansion. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is just use to kind of cover that whole visualization of what I just shared. I'm going to do a word picture with you. So you're shopping through the mall and you see a pair of shoes in the window. I don't care. It could be some Nike Airs. It could be some red bottom high heels. It could be some sparkly flip-flops. I don't care what it is, but you love them. And you're like, those shoes are so me. That could be a really good fit. I want to go try them on. This is what dating's like, right? You see something in the window and you like it. And so you want to try it on. And you ask the person, hey, do you have a size 8? And they're like, I only have an 8.5 and a 7.5. And you're like, well, I really like the shoe. I'm going to see if I can make it work. And so you try on this 7.5 and your foot is just smushed. You're like, this would not be really fun for the long haul. I really like the shoe. I can see it on my foot, but I don't know. So then you move on to the 8.5, hoping it'll still kind of fit. And yet it's flopping around. It's too big. You know, you're going to get a big blister in the back just from rubbing and rubbing. And so as much as you want the shoe to work and you like the shoe, it's just not the right fit. And that is why I say when you text someone that they're great, they're just not the right fit, you're truly coming from a genuine place because you wouldn't have had any interest anyways if you didn't think they were great. Well, I hope you guys are making great dating decisions. And I want that, you know, the 52% who said they weren't comfortable doing this, I want you comfortable and I want you able to do this because in relationships, communication only gets harder and it's still work. So you've got to be doing the work early so that you're going to be able to do the work when you're deep in. All right, you guys, thanks for following. Make sure that you have sent this to a bestie who is single as well, or maybe an ex that needs it. And I will see you on the Dating with Katy podcast.